Hey friends, Scott Postma here. I wanted to take a moment and share something with you that I thought was really fascinating. If you've been following us at all at Kepler, we've been discussing the philosophy of education recently. And in our most recent podcast episode, the Consortium podcast, we discussed the idea of the need to deinstitutionalize our culture. And the reason for that is because our public school system was designed. Horace Mann brought this model from the Prussians back in the 19th century, but it was designed to cultivate citizens for a democratic state, much like the paideia of the Greeks and Romans did for their state. So, as classical Christian educators, our goal is to cultivate free men and women in the kingdom of Christ. And so we were talking about how these different goals in education form different kinds of citizens. And we came up about this from a lot of different angles, but really what we see in our culture today is a life that begins in an institution and ends in an institution. You're born in a hospital, you go to kindergarten, you go to school, you go to college, you get a job, usually a corporate job, and then you might have some freedom at retirement for a little while, and then you get old and end up in a nursing home and then die in hospice care or something like that. So institution to institution, this is how we live. But this kind of thinking was cultivated through our public school system. It was designed this way. Well, in any case, I ordered a book about Horace Mann a while back, and it just came today, so I was just cracked it open a few minutes ago. And in the preface, there's this delightful paragraph that really just summarizes everything we've been saying. So I wanted to share it with you, and I'm going to try to manage this camera so hopefully you can see it and hear at the same time. The book is titled Horace Mann's Troubling Legacy, and the subtitle there is The Education of Democratic Citizens by Bob Peppermint Taylor. And the paragraph that I want to read to you, if I can steady this camera while I read over the shoulder of the phone here. For the civic educator, the task is to produce a particular kind of citizen. For the educator released from political goals, that would be the classical Christian educator, the end of education is less to shape students than to develop their reason and knowledge to such a degree that they are able to take personal responsibility for shaping themselves as free and independent individuals, thinking through their own views, cultivating their own taste, developing their own life plans, and becoming unique people. That's the goal of a liberal arts education, to create free men and women who are free in Christ. Although it is comforting to think that in a democracy, these two projects are complementary, and then I love this parenthesis. He said, we like to say that a democracy is the form of government that values free and autonomous individuals. We like to say that, but the open-endedness of the educational process is worrisome from the political perspective. The temptation is to try to produce an education with a known and satisfactory outcome. And then this final statement here, free men and women, Andy's going to try to help us, free men and women are a bit too unpredictable for the civic educator's taste. So there you have it. Annie wants me to take her out, so I need to let you go, but I wanted to read that to you. Thought it was fascinating in light of what we've been talking about. Jump over to consortium.kepler.education, check out our most recent podcast, and love to chat with you more about this. God bless.